Hello, everyone, and welcome to FieldLevel's webinar. We're going to be talking about the state of recruiting right now. And right now, we're bringing you three coaches from three different levels to talk about the state of recruiting. Quick introduction for me. My name is Brenton Sullivan. I am the co-founder and CEO of FieldLevel. It's an athletic recruiting network. Thank you, coaches, for being here. I think that, number one, our most important is make sure that everyone is healthy and safe. Everyone healthy and safe right now?
We're good.
Healthy and safe.
That's great. I'm just going to do a quick introduction. We got Coach Burns. Coach Burns, how you doing? Out of Walla Walla University, and it's an NAI school. We got Coach Fennell out of Pierce College. How you doing, Coach? It's a 2-year college program out of Washington. And we got Coach Brill, who's head coach of the Music City Saints, and then also Hillsborough High School out of Nashville, Tennessee, the high school level. Coach, how you doing?
Great. How are you today?
Doing very well. What's your perspective on how recent events have affected your recruiting process?
Yeah, so with the current events happening, recruiting has changed. Most notably, there are no campus visits that are happening now, and there's no tryouts. There's no meeting, recruits face to face or meeting their families. So that has changed a lot with the ability to really get to know a potential recruit and see how they fit on a personal basis.
So how are you dealing with that right now? If no one can sort of come on campus, are there things you're thinking about on different ways to start to interact with student athletes and
Yeah, it's a tough situation, but one of the things that we can do and that I do is you can utilize the telephone more in talking to recruits, talking to families, and really getting a more sense of the athlete from a personality standpoint, character standpoint. So, and then also videos. That's not the, answer for replacing meeting someone in person, but you can take advantage of videos and then also the phone and really communicating and talking with athletes.
Great. Coach Fennell, what's your opinion on how the recent events have sort of affected your recruiting process?
Well, it's depersonalized it. Same thing that Coach said is it's depersonalized it. It's taken that personal touch out of it. So what we've had to do is get really creative on finding a way to bring back that personal touch to it. And really, it's not so much the players having to adapt, because they're on their phones 24/7. They're doing Skype, they're doing this, they're doing that. Everything is through a phone or through a computer. So it's really us coaches that are having to find new ways to adapt to what they're already used to, really.
What are you using most? Are you using computer, tablet, phone? What's sort of the main medium for you right now?
Well, it's honestly, it's kind of everything above. I'm a very hands-on coach, so I like to really make it personal. So I believe that a player, when they come into a program, they fall in love with the other players there and the coaches, and then the program that kind of comes with it. So what we've done is we've created a virtual tour. By touring through the campus, we've added some of our returners on that. So the returners are taking them through a tour of the campus itself.
Wow.
Because it's important that they get to know the existing players and the players they're going to be playing with. So by doing that virtual tour, they can it's almost like they're going on tour through the campus with our recruits already.
Wow.
We're just putting it in a format that they're already used to anyway.
Sure.
So that's really what we're doing. Of course, on the phones and stuff by like that, but we're just utilizing the tools that they're better at than we are.
That's great. Coach Brill, how about you from the club team and high school coaches perspective? How's
Sure.
this changed recruiting for you?
Well, from the club's perspective, I have 2 young men that graduated in 2020 that did not want to take any offers in the fall. and I guarantee you they're regretting that.
Okay.
And for the last 10 days since the virus has hit and has put high school baseball on the hold, I've gone on the field level and promoted them to all the coaching schools within 200-mile radius of here. And fortunately, since last Monday, I've heard back at least every day from a coach wanting more information on them.
So you chose to sort of look local. Was that is that because of sort of what's going on in this world?
The way I go at it is, I'll first ask the young men, will you leave Tennessee? Will you go anywhere? And of course, I always get, oh yeah, coach, sure, no problem. And then when I find a school in St. Louis or South Carolina, all of a sudden they do that 360, coach, that's way too far. I go, well, that's not what you told me before. Don't make me look bad.
Got it.
So, now, they want to stay within near, because who knows if this will ever come back again.
Got it.
So I'm narrowing the search for them.
Got it. Well, thank you for that. I think that was kind of a good broad overview there. Next up, Coach Burrell, maybe we'll stick with you. What questions have athletes and parents asked you about the recruiting process? Sort of what are you hearing from them as you're working with them? Not just the club athletes, but also the high school athletes from Hillsborough High School.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have any seniors. So I'm promoting my 21 and 22 kids. And more or less, they're saying to me, Coach, are we going to be playing this summer? Because we do the showcase tournaments around the country. The colleges are closed. You think it's going to be opened up? I said, it's too hard to tell right now, but I'm going to promote you online with FieldLevel. Get videos for me so I can send them out, and that's the way that's the way we have to recruit you for the time being. It's an unknown, and if coaches are interested, they'll let me know and get in touch with them via the phone or text or Skype or FaceTime, really, so that they can see you since you can't go on campus.
That's interesting. For Coach Fennell and Coach Burns, what advice would you give to a high school coach who has athletes that want to play? I mean, you kind of just heard the perspective of a high school club coach right now, and there's a lot of questions around summer. And is this sort of, there's a lot of recruiting that happens during summer. What advice would you give to high school coaches that are thinking about this and trying to navigate this right now? Maybe Coach Fennell, we'll start with you, and then Coach Burns, you can jump in.
Sure. I think the advice I would give for a high school coach or even a high school player that's looking to move on is be proactive. You really have to. And they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, it's absolutely true in this case. You've got to be proactive. You've got to set your emails out there. You got to get on FieldLevel. You got to promote yourself. If you're an athlete, I know a lot of my college players, they took advantage of premium, and it really helped them to promote themselves to get signed this year. So I would say the same thing for high school coaches is talk to your players, find out where they want to go, and then be their advocate. That's what you need to do, is be their advocate, create great pipelines and be proactive every single day of every moment that you can. There's nobody that's going to recruit you better than you if you're a high school athlete.
Got it. Coach Burns, what's your opinion there? What advice would you give high school coaches at this time?
Yeah, I want to piggyback on Coach Fennell. Being proactive is going to be the key. Right now, the level field is pretty much the same. Every college has the same challenges now. So it's up to the athlete to really, and their parents to promote themselves, because you have an opportunity. I can't travel to a showcase or recruit as well out of state as I would like to. So now if an athlete is really being proactive and calling me or emailing me, they're going to be on my radar. I'm not out recruiting, so I have time. I have time to pay attention, answer phone calls, answer emails. And if you are aggressive, then you're going to be on my radar a little bit more than before when things were a little bit more busy and we were out recruiting. And coaches, high school coaches, please email us at your list of players, because now is a great time to promote those players. So definitely giving us a list or sending us a list of your players that in a detailed list that you think players that might fit our profile or our school or region, that'd be great.
And film. We can't go watch you, so we got free time. Send us some film. We actually like to look at film. We're missing our sports too.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm curious for the college coaches here. You say be proactive. I think what goes through a lot of people's heads is sort of like, what does that mean? How often, how much? If without using any names, is there an athlete right now that's done that for you? And maybe walk through like what they did and what worked and just so that other people can sort of get a reference point on sort of like, well, what is a blueprint on how to be proactive without seeming over aggressive or without not doing enough. There's both sides of that. Maybe Coach Fennell, maybe you'd start. Do you have anyone in mind right now that's done it right?
Absolutely, yes. I had a kid who actually signed with me this year, and it wasn't anybody actually that was even on my radar. I had her club coach reach out to me last year for me to take a look at her, and I looked at her film, still wasn't really on my radar. But the kid kept reaching out to me. She'd send me, during club season, she'd send me an email once a week. Hey, here's my schedule. Here's where I'm playing. Here's my schedule. Here's where I'm playing. And just a nice little letter. Hey, I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to see me this last weekend, but here's my schedule for next week. And I'd send back, hey, I didn't get an opportunity, or hey, thanks for sending the email. But she just, every week or every once a month, she just sent me an email, an update of what her schedule was going to be and where she was at. And then it was on me to go watch. And I finally had an opportunity to go see her play. I got there, told her I was going to be there. She found me, came up to me, introduced herself, and this kid's amazing. So you just have to be. But she was the blueprint. She sent me film. She sent me emails. She reached out to me. She found me on social media and would find me on our volleyball page. I don't think especially now, you can send too many contacts.
Okay.
I don't think but she followed the blueprint, reached out to me every week, gave me her schedule, sent me her film until I finally had to go see this kid. It was either go see this kid or she's never going to leave me alone. And I did. And I'm like, I got to have this kid. So.
And it didn't feel cut and paste or anything like that. Like someone had written an email and was just taking that and sort of, it was personalized each time when she was reaching out. I mean, it sounds like it was consistent, which is great.
It was like we were having a conversation, and that's what, if I could give advice is don't be cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Don't just cut and paste. I mean, cause you're going to send that one email and you're going to forget to change the name of who you sent it to. I've had one of those before. So personalize it. We have to, in order to come play for us, I mean, you may be a great athlete, but we have to like you too, and you have to like us. So you've got to be as personable as possible, I believe.
Got it. Coach Burns, similar. Do you have a story of anyone that's done it sort of right? And
yeah, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I think, I had a player who called me, he sent me an email, and then followed it up with a phone call. And that's great. I think seeing how hungry a player is important. And then also being personal is important as well. In a sense that we want to know who you are. And, we don't want the cookie cutter email. We don't want cookie cutter responses. That's not going to give me an idea of who you are. And you're not going to stand out. I think, you have to remember, coaches, we get a lot of emails. We get a lot of calls. For yours to stand out, it's going to be the person who's being more personal, and really is invested in wanting to play at your school. And I would say at least, once a week is good, but I don't think you can overdo it. If it's something you really want, you're going to have to go get it, because you're competing with other recruits as well, and you have to stand out.
Got it. That's great. Well, Coach, maybe we'll stay with you, and we'll move back with Coach Fennell and then to Coach Brill. The next question we have here is, if you're speaking to an athlete right now, or if you're speaking to athletes out there in general right now, what are some of the things they can continue to do at this time to help during the lull and during some of this uncertainty? Is there advice that you're giving athletes? Coach Burns, it could be your own athletes, but also the recruits that are out there. And then we'll work our way. Fennell and Coach Brill, you can do that as well.
With whatever space you are permitted, stay active. Okay. Yep. This isn't going to last forever. It is tough times, but to be honest, it's going to get better. And I think that the one thing athletes can do is with whatever space you're provided, please continue to work hard and train, and do the best you can to continue to get better in your sport. And coaches are recruiting. Just because this has limited our ability to travel and to see players or players to see our campuses, we are still recruiting. Recruiting is still happening. We still are planning for our upcoming season and the years after. So, yes, it's harder. It's disappointing, but we're still active 100%. And so I don't want any athletes or athletes' parents to feel like, okay, recruiting has stopped, college has stopped, the opportunities have stopped. That is not the case at all. We're just having to change the way we do it, but it is still happening.
Great. Coach Fennell, what's some advice that you're giving athletes?
It's kind of the same thing as Coach said, is it's utilize the time that you have. I mean, you have a unique opportunity, and the playing field is actually leveled off now. You have some of those players who maybe don't play club competitively. So those athletes now have an opportunity to utilize the space they have, just like, Coach Burns said, and work out, lift. If you're in agility, jump training, whatever you can do. I mean, we here at Pierce, what I did, I actually just did it over the weekend in order to stay in contact with my incoming players and my returning players is I created a workout. It's just an alphabet workout. For every letter of your name, it's a certain lift. And it's done on social media, and you have to tag us in your workouts, and that way our players can stay in contact with each other. We can stay in contact with each other. It's all done via social media, but utilize the time and be an expert in your craft. Watch film. I mean, be a student of the game. I mean, so many athletes this day and age aren't students of the game, and take this time to do that. Learn your craft. Do it on, utilize social media, utilize the TV, and utilize whatever weight room you got. If it's doing dips off of a chair, or it's doing agility or bands or chalk in your garage, doing ladders, whatever it is, take the time to better yourselves.
That's great. Coach Brill, what are you telling your athletes right now that are at home?
At home. Well, before we left, we have the GroupMe app. And I'm in constant contact with them every day, checking on them, making sure they're okay and safe. And prior to being dismissed from school until it goes back, I tell them every day, work out, stretch, run, throw, hit, find some place now they can't go to the gym. Find some place in your backyard, get a tee, hit. Because we're not going to, if they say we're going to play May 1st, we're not going to have time for any practices. So they've sent me videos of themselves working out, listening to me, and then I've sent them videos how to train and how to practice at home by themselves.
Great. Sticking with that and moving sort of the next question, we'll work our way back there. What's one thing that you would tell sort of peer coaches right now? What's something that you're doing that's worked? You know, I know there have been a couple of things that have been brought up, but, you know, Coach Brill, we'll start with you at sort of the club, the high school level. Like, what's one of the things that's really worked that you'd love to share with other peer coaches out there?
Well, I've just for the most part, I've told the other coaches, and we've met to discuss when we're going to come back. You know, we're all afraid. We're all scared. It's new waters that we're all stepping into. Relax your guys. Relax your guys, because maybe their parents are just as upset. And also, prior to the virus, we had tornadoes rip through here. So we've had the tornadoes and now the virus. Just relax the guys.
Got it.
And be there for them.
Got it. That's great. Coach Fennell, what would you tell some of your peers at the 2-year college level?
For us, I mean, we're recruiting every day, 24/7, because we only have them for 2 years. But my thing is utilize the athletes that you already have. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I mean, look, I'm not a social media guru. I wasn't born in that age where we're all over social media and I got everything in my hand, but our athletes are. Yeah. They're great at, they're great at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. So, you know, I've taken advantage of my athletes to show me how to use this stuff, and I'm utilizing them to help me recruit their teammates. So use the tools that you have. It's the same thing we tell our athletes, is use the tools that you have. So we need to do the same thing and practice what we preach and use the tools that we have. And we have to be just as deliberate and just as proactive in our recruiting. But it's all learn social media. It's what the athletes nowadays use anyway. Mm-hmm. It's their tool of choice. So we've got to learn to recruit the way our athletes are.
And so it sounded like did you lean on a couple of your roster athletes, you know, people that are currently on your team to kind of help you, like, help me get this downloaded, help me figure out how to communicate, what's the right platform, what's the right medium?
I did. Of course, after a lot of, you know, Greg, you're old, how do you not know this? And a lot of other jokes that I got along the way. I let those come at me, of course. But yeah, I did. I utilized my athletes, utilize every resource. My wife is a real estate agent and she takes all these Instagram classes. So, yeah, I mean, I had to do what my wife said last night and have her show me how to use Instagram and do all these things last night. That was a swallowing of the, you know, that was a tough thing to swallow. But yeah, I mean, my athletes are showing me how to do things. I have a couple who are all over TikTok. And so they're showing me how to utilize that. And I'm going to use that form.
That's great. Very cool. Coach Burns, what would you tell other coaches at the 4-year level? Anything that you've done that's worked?
Yeah, I think the main thing we can do is continue to do our jobs and really be that voice of calm and reason to our current athletes and our current team. You know, that's one advice I would give, and continue to recruit. You know, once again, take advantage of the time, take advantage of, you know, technology, social media. We can use the time that we have to improve as individual teams, and also use this time to get better, you know, at maybe utilizing some of these social media platforms to promote our schools and to promote our programs even better. And so that's what I would encourage all of my colleagues.
That's great. Well, we really do appreciate you coaches coming together like this. I think, you know, like I said when I let off, we talked to hundreds of coaches over the last couple weeks here, and it's really interesting when you bring coaches together that are at different levels. We have the high school level, the 2-year college level, the 4-year college level, and it sounds like there's a lot of there's a lot of sort of similarities and crossovers, you know, some differences, obviously. Maybe to sort of wrap this up, Coach Burns, we can sort of go with you, and Coach Fennell will kind of go back to you, and then Coach Brill. What's one thing that you've maybe learned from one of the other panelists today that you maybe didn't know yet, if there was anything? What was maybe something that stuck out?
Well, I think one of the things that Coach Fennell said, which was really, really cool, is the virtual tour of your campus and utilizing your athletes. I know our university has a campus days where we invite seniors to campus, and they're creating a virtual tour. But the one thing I liked is that you had your student athletes in there. And I think that can be a very powerful tool, not just for now, but even in the future.
Wow, that's great. Coach Fennell, what was maybe something that stuck out for you?
Well, it actually was what Coach Burns had said just a moment ago, and what he said is take the time to better yourself, and that stuck out as like, well, we tell our athletes to do that. Well, as coaches, this is an opportunity for us to get better at our craft. I mean, are we, so that's what I'm going to do. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to, get online. I'm going to watch some videos. I'm going to learn some more drills. I'm going to get better at what I do, so that when we're ready to go, we'll be better than what we were, because I took the time to better myself.
Amazing. Coach Brill, how about you?
How about me? I'm afraid of all that social media stuff. I don't want to. I'm a dinosaur. I'm old enough to be some of your grandfathers. No, that's not true. What I listened to is, in the past, in maybe 10, 15 years ago, if you would send a college coach a video, they would tell me, I get videos every day and it goes into file G. And I go, file G? What's file G? Garbage. But now with today, and I've told my boys, you need to do videos, you need to send them out, but send them to me and I'll send them out. That way I know they get them. But now, and I've told every kid, you need to write down a list of 25 schools that you want to go to, write why you want to go to, and send that coach a video and be personal. And listening to you two coaches, I'm going to rethink that it doesn't have to go through my hands all the time, that they should do it on their own. It might mean more to the coaches.
Thank you, coaches, for taking the time today. And I think this will be really insightful for other coaches that are out there, at just like all of us at home, trying to figure out, how can we get ourselves better? That was actually one of the biggest takeaways for me, was that we have the time, take advantage of it. Hopefully we can come out of this and be stronger. And it's just shifting our focus away from maybe going out there and, doing a bunch of sort of social interactions. It's more about like looking at yourself and trying to figure out how can we get better. And just like you said, when we get through this, surface and be stronger. Well, thank you so much, coaches, for taking the time. And we'll be in touch soon, and stay healthy and safe. And really do appreciate you giving back to the community here of coaches.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe, you guys.
You too.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.